Just tuning into the body, total focus. Trying to feel everything. Most important thing. Hopefully, as you continue your practice, when you do this and you put your mind into trying to feel every nerve ending, so to speak, then you get a different type of feedback as you continue, as you become more aware. And also because of the message that you're giving the body as you do this changes. It's kind of a two-way system. The mind is sending a message for the body to conform to the Tai Chi posture, the Tai Chi breath, relaxing everything, extending through the relaxation. So the mind is sending messages to do these things and then listening to the feedback. And from the feedback, from the information, making more adjustments. So there's constantly, as you look in, there are adjustments. So one of the sayings that there is movement inside stillness actually means that as you relax, for example, say your chest muscles relax and the chest has a feeling of emptying. Diaphragm relaxes, the abdomen feels like it fills. They say the chi descends, the breath descends. There's a natural feeling of, as the joints open, of a lengthening, a growing of the spine. There's all these, as these adjustments take place, there's a feeling, this is what they mean, what are the meanings of this movement within the stillness. This movement is largely sort of descending, the feeling of giving way a bit more in the knees. So the more you relax, there's a kind of internal feeling of change. This is movement. As well as physical movement, such as the movement of the breath. Body naturally inflating and deflating, moving with the breath. And this becomes more subtle. You start to feel it more, like when you breathe in, it doesn't just feel like you feel down here, everywhere, and it almost flows out to your whole body. And when you breathe out, it's almost a feeling that the whole body deflates. It's a very subtle thing. You get more profoundly interested. And then you see that the body's never still. The body's always moving around. It's not a statue. It's always there's these minor, micro adjustments taking place all the time as you relax, because the body should be an act of balancing. It's not held. So when you breathe, it changes the body position, so the body has to naturally, it's a natural system. You just become more aware of it. Maybe we're holding more tension to hold ourselves in the legs, so we're battling against the possibility of falling, so we hold. And we mustn't do that, we must release. This is all movement. So if you shut your eyes, you may find you get contact more with this physical movement. So the internal movement, settling, etc. And bringing your feet together. So when we're moving, actually moving, there's movement, but there's stillness inside. So although there's movement all the time in stillness, things change. There's also an attempt to keep an inner stillness, an inner peace in the movement. This is what it means. They say There's movement in stillness, there's stillness in movement. And then we're very careful to listen to the feedback, because if we don't listen to the feedback, we can't exactly get the postures correct. So if we are wrong, we don't listen to feedback and our knees go forwards, we don't notice because we're strong, but we add tension to the body, to the knees. And maybe, we want to feel that the weight stays. It could be more in the heel, but as long as you're conscious of where your weight is and it's no strain, and you sit back and you feel your knees, you can see the relationship, my knees, to the line in the sofa there. If I go like this, you can see my knees go over that line. But if I do this, you see my knees stay this side of the line. And as I go, I need to feel the change in my spine. So the change in my spine from being curved in like it normally is to curved out. So there's this feeling of tucking here, which has a slight feeling of drawing in and contracting the stomach muscle. This going down the abdominal muscle here. And at the same time, the chin is drawing in, and the head is going up. The shoulder blades, we can feel the shoulder blades open, as if we're extending to the fingers. These are natural things. You still feel the breath. But then while we move, see where the knees are in relation to the split in the sofa. If I do this, 2 forward, forward. So I go around, but there's not much. You can see I'm more going back, away from the line, and back to where I was. So I'm not going forwards. If you do, it doesn't matter. But it's just you want to gradually feel, because you're more. Do you tense your arms? Often people do this, and they tense the arms and the wrists. Do you keep them relaxed? Relaxed. Reverse direction. Comfort. So the feedback all the time is telling you when we slowly come up, slightly sit the tail and then slowly come up. There is lots of information in balancing when we balance on one leg. So again, we don't notice. So, someone was saying to me that they couldn't see how they have to do this in order to do the leg. Yeah? Couldn't see how they could stay upright like this. Every time they went to go on one leg, they went to the side. Or they put their hip out or something like this. So you have to listen to the feedback. Go down both sides, keeping straight, but the weight going into one side. So you have to make an adjustment so you don't do this. So that you stay level. So when we're moving, there's a lot of, are we moving the body and the leg together? Now, turn on the way. Are we turning the body to turn the leg? So often people just do this because they're holding on. Reverse, turn. Doesn't mean, like I can, like just then, I had a second bit, this your ability to recover from it. So you might do this, but you can recover. Something will happen. Trying to keep still, not. Well, when I say still, it's not still because there is a kind of internal. There's all sorts of movements. So I kind of going up and down like this, swinging my leg freely, like on a swing, and swinging freely. There's feedback in the feet, the weight shape. Right leg, left leg, heels to toes. Information from the legs. There's the muscles carrying the weight and they're not carrying the weight. Feeling the clothing moving on the skin. It's the feeling of which comes from being, are you going around in a smooth, constant way, or are you kind of information from the hips? How soft are the buttocks? How soft are you around the hip? How unimpeded is the movement? How soft in the joint? There's movement in the upper body. There's a slight feeling of this tilting forwards and tilting back. And as you tilt forwards, the shoulders flop forwards a little bit, not too much. Concentrate, keep moving at the hip. There's a feeling the chest opening. This is natural. So we miss them at first because we're not used to listening. Not to this extent. The movements of the arms. You can see my arms moving. So they're falling forwards and then they're coming behind a little bit. Changes in the spine. Subtly changes in the neck. So you kind of watch these things happen. You don't so much do them. You're just doing this at the hip. You're relaxing. You're noticing them. You can make them bigger then if you choose to. Reverse. Flow. Constant flow. All the other stuff is still going on, like when we are still. In other words, the breath, the sinking, the changing of as you relax even more deeply. Deeply meditative. Feeling the body. There's no time for. I was watching a Japanese film, and the character was talking about this program. The character was talking about how she was living, how she managed to live with all the terror that was going on at the time in Japan in the 17th century, 16th. And she said they have this thing called, I can't remember what it's called, the 7 fences. 7 fences. These are fences like to protect you from the outside world. And what she said is that it's like you're saying, and it's just a normal medicine, but if you just focus on the rain, the sound of the rain, or you're focusing on the sound of the wind, or something like this, when you're truly focused on those things, the other things no longer outside of that moment no longer really exist. Well, they do exist, but you kind of put fences up that you can kind of not think about them. I'm not saying our meditation is about trying to protect us from things, but in a way, it's by bringing attention so much into the breath and the body, you are, in a sense, taking time out from our everyday sort of problems or things like this, or our negative thoughts, whatever. So it's a way of quieting the mind and being able to go somewhere else, in effect, like you were saying. So it's anyway. like that idea that our attention is so absorbed in the body, our mind, our attention is so focused on these things that there's no bandwidth left for going elsewhere. We can extrapolate that into that idea, not just the body, but listening outside, looking at the sunset, whatever it is, to again be so involved and engrossed in the moment that there again you're shutting down the bandwidth. Okay, so with the spine then, so with feedback again, when we go down, if we don't listen to the feedback well enough, maybe we just do a kind of thing like this, you know. But again, we go down here, and we let the body, so it's so balanced over the feet. The center, this part's going back, this is going forwards, the balance is still on the feet. So it's very easy on the knees. The spine relaxing more. As the spine relaxes, it has a sense of growing. Cross, broadening and lengthening the back, and the fingers open. You listen to the feedback, allow the growing, relax, watch the breath. There's movement. There's movement coming up. Again, as you come up, you want to sink the tail. Sink the tail. It's like a lever. You sink the tail, and then this comes up. And you slowly come up. And then we want to keep here, and then we go up. So again, this time there's a feeling you're still keeping above your feet, not going back. Have the arms out. And the natural openness and relax, not held. And then as we go to lower position, our arms drop. Our arms drop. But because your body's moving, they drop in front of you, but in slow motion. So really you're paying more attention, because this is why we're slow in Tai Chi. Because it gives us the opportunities to really feel these changes in the body and watch what we're doing. Now, so when we're up, we're still sitting, not like this. If you are like this, it's still okay. It's just doing something else. And this one, we're not doing that. And then we drop, the arms are dropping, the body's dropping, the tail's aligning, and we're back to here. Not hold. And we come up, keeping an eye. So all the way through, we keep checking all the muscles so we don't tense any muscles. And again, you're watching your breath. The movement is smooth. Listening to all that feed. This is the meditate. This is the important thing. The information from the whole body. The ground, the feet on the ground, the movement in the legs, up the spine, how the spine's moving, the shoulders, keep the shoulders dropped. Let them naturally hang behind. Let them naturally fall forward, the head as well. Elbows relaxed, wrists, fingers open. And if you choose to, you can feel more the whole body getting bigger, and the fingers opening, like expanding and then contracting on the way down, like going to sleep. And then the in-breath, everything, the energy fills the body more. And an idea of the energy sort of descending to the feet and coming up and filling the body to the fingertips. And when it hits the fingertips, you actually feel almost like the fingers, you let the fingers open. So you imagine the energy reaching till it feels like it happens rather than you do it. So the energy fills the body, fills with energy, top of the head to the fingers, everything open, and then everything. So it's like a switch. You breathe in, you come to the end, the energy fills, and then the fingers relax again as you go back down. They're always relaxed, but open, they close again. Very subtle. Let's take a larger step. So in Tai Chi, very often in exercise, especially people who do the Tai Chi form, there's this constant change of weight going on in the form. And a lot of exercises. So we look at this, then we feel naturally the changes in the leg is obvious. Yeah? This you can feel the ground underneath the foot is bearing, this leg's bearing the weight. The foot squashes against the ground. The muscles contract with the weight of the body. So we say the leg fills, the other leg is empty, as relaxed as you can be. The muscles as relaxed as we can be. Yeah? And then we shift and we keep level, not so important. Then we feel this one empties and this one fills. Again, the real thing is to really relax so much that this leg, when the weight's gone onto this one, this leg is so relaxed. And then in the body here, we have a movement of the spine, but we have a feel of the movement of the inside here, like we turn here. Notice I'm not doing this. I'm turning in here. So I feel like it turns. So that means this part of the body gets squashed and this part gets lengthened. So I feel in here, and these muscles, if like me, you eat too much, it's more like skin, fat. So a little bit, I mean. Yeah. So we're turning in here, and then this arm is just hanging, and then we're turning. Now we do that changing the weight, so we have other changes, and the head dropping. So you're going to feel all these changes. You're going to change the weight. You're going to turn this at the same time, and the body's going to flip over. So you don't feel you do anything here. It kind of feels it just naturally. As you do this, the body just naturally falls over. So you just turn your center and you feel all these changes. The shoulder heavy here. Yeah. So you change the weight to left side as you turn. Now as you come up, you slide across to the left foot, right foot as you drop to the left foot as you drop to the right. It's a lovely feeling. So a lot of things happen. A lot of things happen. Now we join in with the arms. Arms soft. No tension. But it's not like you can't say you can't lift your arm without some muscle. So we talk about the minimum possible. How relaxed can your joints be and your muscles be, given that now, when they're down here, obviously they can relax. So we would bring our weight, say, to the left side, and we'd have the arms up. And then to an extent, we're not ignoring the arms, but we're moving from here. So we do the same movement as before. Naturally, this shoulder goes down, the hand goes down. This one goes up, the hand goes up. At the same time, we sit down a little bit. So we want to keep level. We don't want to lift this area. And we end up like this. And we could add to it, but it's better just to be close. Now we change the weight, we come up, and then the body flips through the center on its way to the other side. Now, if we want, we can do it slowly to our breath. So I would normally breathe in as I come up, and out as I settle back more down. And so when I settle, I feel like drop. I feel when I come up in height a little bit, and then drop. But I drop everything down, not one side. But that doesn't matter if you don't. Still be good for you. So feel the changes in the legs. The weight going, changing. One filling, one empty. Feel the changes in this area around the side of the abdomen and inside. The change in the ribs. These ribs open, these ones. The change in the neck as the head naturally falls asleep to one side, falls asleep to the other side. Change in the arms. There's one arm halfway up, both are equal, aren't they? Then when you go down, this one has to maintain its form, but this one can be more relaxed. Be aware of your fingers. Should be aware of everything, like also the feeling of the movement is smooth and constant and continuous. The feeling of the air as your hands move through the air and your arms, in my case. The clothing moving on the body. The breath. So absorbed in these things. The mind naturally acquires a complete meditative, mindful, in which the rest of things, the past and the future, if you like, don't exist so much, or don't exist in your mind. You're just free of it for a while, you're just enjoying your practice. And this is why I often say, you should cultivate first the most comfortable, the most comfortable and indeed pleasurable feeling you can, because this then, it's like there's a famous meditator, Krishnamurti. He was brought up to be like a very important guru, but he rejected it all, became more westernized, but he still kept to this idea of meditation. But he would say, well, you meditate in a way, you're mindful when you, for example, if you see a beautiful sunset, you become so absorbed in it. And it's a very pleasurable thing. Or he said you could be absorbed in watching birds in a tree. You can be absorbed in what's going on around you. And this, he says, is in itself this is a meditation, rather than being anxious about things. So anxiousness is a feeling. When we're here right now, there may be things going on in our lives and in our bodies. We may feel anxious about them. We're trying to, by being absorbed in the other, allowing that anxiety the mind to rest more, as much as we can. So the bigger movement, so take one hand behind, other hand up. Slightly up, not too much. Just to feel a slight open. Slight lifting, not too much. And then again, we're watching the weight shift. The weight shift. Again, we want to turn here. So the same as last time, we want to feel that same thing. So it's the same as when we were doing it. And then forward. Yeah, stop. This is the same as when we were doing it. And then this side, same as when we were doing this. So we're watching the weight change. One leg down. As we get here, we now shift to the other side, and the whole body pulling through the water. And then scooping up. So a slight dropping of the coccyx to come up, scoop up. Breath. I would normally coordinate the breath. You don't have to. Normally I breathe in here. Feel, if you can, the sense of the air flowing through your fingers. Feeling of the air, the arm passing through the air. Clothing, the breath, everything. The movement of the spine, up flexible, relaxed spine, up and down the spine, keeping the shoulders asleep. Immerse yourself in the action. Change, smooth, smooth, smooth. Constant speed. Well, smooth. It doesn't have to be absolutely constant. It can like change a little bit. Like you might say, slow down a bit and here and maybe speed up a bit. It's very slight though. You want to try and feel like generally it's fairly evenly paced. But when you're going down, you need some more control to stop yourself falling. When you're coming up, you need more control to lift. But to keep an even pace both sides is not so easy. Up, both hands. Sit. Look up. Or you can look at me, head back, but look through your eye down the length of your nose at me. And then turn again. You can feel the weight change. Here more on my right leg, here more on my left. Turn in the center, turn here. Feel the changes in the hips. Watch the breath. Try and relax your back. Relax every muscle. Okay. Ah. So let's go back to this movement here. We just did this, yeah. And then feel that we're coming from the body, from the body. So we're turning here. And the arm, one arm, it's like the arms swing like that. One swings up, one swings down. And again, we can change the weight either way. Again, I tend to put the weight into the right foot as I turn left, but you can do the opposite. As long as you're consistent or notice what you're doing. So you feel the changes in the legs and slow it down. Keep level. If you look at me a moment, keep level. Keep level. Keep the hips level. Keep here level. Keep the top of your head level. Try to avoid doing this. It's not the same as another, it's a different exercise, different rules. Here, stop a moment. Try to avoid this with the knees following. Keep the knees out. You can feel, if I do this, you can see my trousers stretch a little bit here. And I keep that even more stretchy. So you have to relax to do this. You can't force it. Then gradually your knees don't move very much, and where you feel the weight change on and you feel that the body moves the arms. So you are not moving your arms, you're swinging the arms from the body. There's another thing that happens here. This top arm comes around and it curves underneath so that it's now facing the ground. This is what we do in the dragon. You could put the weight on the left side if you want. That's what we do in the dragon. Yeah? Or you can keep it on the right side because it's a separate exercise. Smooth. Don't coordinate the breath unless you really want to slow it down. Just breathe naturally. Concentrate more. Feel the arms flowing through the air. Feel the whole body relax. Relax your neck. Feel the changes in the neck. Okay, one moment. I've done this before. But if you imagine there's a resistance, then although if you look at me, I don't want to do this. You know, I keep my body like relaxed and still, but I still feel I'm pushing something. If you look at my body, you'll see a slight movement. And I notice this. And I notice if I think there's a resistance, I feel movement in my whole body. I feel movement in my legs. I feel the weight change. I feel movement everywhere. But don't deliberately move the body. Just think you want to turn the head, but feel like you're gently pushing something to the side. But if you forget about pushing something, you still eventually feel this is how the body moves. You feel when you turn your head, you feel everything moves in the body. Because this is natural. We don't notice it normally because we're just unconscious of it. It's there, but we're unconscious, always stiff, and it doesn't happen. When we're relaxed, it naturally all happens. Everything happens. And we're trying to become conscious of this, of everything that's going on, and allow it to happen by relaxing and paying attention, and also maybe deliberately checking apart, what each part of the body is doing. And in this way, we gain more control over the body because we're much more conscious of all the things happening. So we draw a circle with the nose. So it's very simple, really. You imagine you walked up to a wall, your nose is against the wall. It's got a piece of chalk. You draw a circle on the wall. Try and keep everything relaxed. Now, if you think someone's trying to stop you from turning, again, you should start feeling how the rest of the body muscles get involved. And if you forget them, you still feel it exists. So whenever we move anything, when we do anything in life with any part of the body, when we're relaxed, there's so many different muscles that are active than we think. The other way, there's a whole great deal. You can then eventually, through careful, mindful practice, you start to feel. So watch me a minute. I can feel. I'm going to exaggerate. I can feel my body kind of does this. My body feels like it's doing this to turn my nose. But you can look at me. It isn't. But maybe you can see very tiny movements. And I feel this in my legs. I feel it in the feet. I feel it everywhere. But but I have been doing it a long time. And it's not a quick thing. I can't say that truly. It's like someone asked a master, famous master, how long will it get me to attain the thing? Yeah. They said, well, he said, somebody could come along the first day, listen to what I say, and they do it. Well, very first day. And they said, another person, they come every day, and it takes them 20 years. Maybe some people never ride a bike. They never do it. They said, but most people, it's within a range of 5, 10, 15, probably average 10 to really get. And often people in the West, we don't want to wait. Or we think, oh, that's too long. But all the way you're trying to do this, it's making everything better. It's more like climbing up a mountain. It might take you 10 years to get up the mountain, but it's everyday climbing that's making you fit. if you could just helicopter up there, you're going to miss out. You're not going to be, you'll just be the same, but up here. So we shouldn't, this is fine. It doesn't matter how long it takes, because every day is working. And it's not quite so easy, because it's more like going up a downward escalator. You're going against the escalator. So if you stop, you go back down. So you're actually going up an escalator and you go back down. So you have to have constant, you have to keep practicing in your life. Otherwise, you stop for a year and you'll just go back where you started. Very important. We know exercise is important for us. And this is exercise, but it's also something else. It's meditation, it's mindfulness, it's body consciousness, it's relaxation. It takes time. So shoulders. Whole body ready. The shoulders here, resting, here, lifting. Trying to keep the shoulders asleep. A little weight. Then if you go higher, then your neck gets in the way, so you have to bring your wrist together behind, like that, in order to get your. You can just do it to here. And then forwards. You don't want to try too hard, because then you're tense. Yeah? Just bring them naturally like this. And the more you relax you are, the more easy it is they come together. But don't try and force them, just like this. And then they go back. And the chest opens. You feel more falling behind like this. Not, just relax, like we were doing before. So they go down, and go behind, and up, and down. And so the whole body does this usual thing. So always touch your shoulders. Up, behind, arms behind. Arms. And as you start going down, they go up. Now, if you want, I like to bring them right behind, but you don't have to. And then they fall, or they fall with the body. It lends itself to breathing in as you come up. So again, there's so much feedback. What's happening in your legs? The movement in the leg. Actually, I'll do it like this. I'm not going behind you. I'm going like, and movement in the spine. Sometimes I do it like this, and because I come more over the head like this. But if you're not going over the head, just do it like this. You can, if you want, you can do the over the head one now. Or just hit. And it's like an undulating spine. And reverse. So put this up, down. So continuous. Feel everything. Eventually you feel like everything's connected. The legs, the torso, the arms move as one. Everything moves together, seamlessly. Very good. Go the other way again. Go like this. Yeah? Go like this, more down. So have the hands like this. And we could go forward. So do. Elbows. Shoulders back. And then shoulders forward. And 1 foot forward. Now, And then so we feel the spine inwards and then outwards and then down. So here, your posture correct. Same as we were doing before. Look at my knee. You can't see it. Look at my knee. When you go down, don't go like this. The knee stays ready. But now, watch this knee, it goes forward. So it's not like before, because now we are doing this. Feel down, relax down your body. You're going to wave up the body, up the spine, shoulders back. Don't lift the shoulders, relax. Wrists relax. And then body back, arms forward. Normally I breathe in here and out. Here. Boom. Wrists relax. Wrists relax. Wrists relax. Less relaxed here because obviously you've got to hold them up. They're not limp. But then they're pretty much limp here and they're pretty much limp here. But you have a slight feeling of noticing that you are opening, like those, closing. And the fingers more alive and the fingers more asleep. Notice everything. There is stillness inside the movement, peacefulness. Try and feel everything. Try and feel the most pleasurable feeling you can from relaxed, effortless exercise. It's not effortless, really. It's the minimum of effort. Just because we relax doesn't mean the body's not working. It's just working through relaxation and not through strain. Change the foot forward. So here, ideally, you want to sit, because this is the same as when we do this. Yeah. And then we come up, and then it's like the elbows just tip back. The elbows don't do anything. They just fall behind. They fall behind. With a tight hand. Feel everything. Sometimes an idea to shut your eyes, maybe not in this one, but in many, maybe you can, and then you can feel more the body. So how much concentration, how much focus can you bring to bear? You know, in order to be truly conscious, you have to be truly awake. You know, when you're sleepy, you're not so conscious. You know, when you're sleepy, you can't pay attention. So meditation is a very awake, aware state. Yeah. Totally awake, totally aware. There's this thing about not being half-hearted, they say. And that's in the Taiji, when they're talking about process of finding meditative state, they say there's three types of people. The first type, they say 1/3 of people. I don't think it's 1/3. But the first type, when they hear about it, they train assiduously. They train with commitment. wholeheartedly. The second type, they're only half-hearted. Sometimes they practice it, sometimes they don't, sometimes they're in the state, sometimes they're not. The third type, when they hear about it, they laugh at it. They just dismiss it. They just, load of rubbish. And so, and then it says in the Taiji, if it wasn't for the fact they laugh, it's because they laugh that we know it must be true. In other words, they're idiots. So we know that laughter of idiots means we must be onto something. I quite like that. But anyway, I'm not saying it for that reason. I'm saying it more because it's this idea, we can be half-hearted about things. We can be doing this, and at the same time we're half asleep, or we're thinking about what we're having for lunch or something else, and we're just going through the motions. And this is normal. I mean, everybody experiences that. Everybody's half-hearted at the beginning. And then you have to train yourself, in a sense, to be more fully engaged. That's why I'm saying it, not in a Taoist sense of being like that all the time. Okay, and just but we can train mindfulness all the time. There's people now. They do this. They train mindfulness. They go to mindfulness classes, and mindfulness is actually an ancient thing. Comes more from Buddhism. So most people learning mindfulness, it's a sort of it's a kind of secular form of Buddhism. Not that Buddhism's quite secular anyway, but anyway, and it's an ancient thing. And the first principle that the Buddhists use in mindfulness, in their practice of meditation, the beginning practice, is called concentration meditation, and this is to train that wholeheartedness, that focus. And you just focus on they just focus on the sensations of the body. So it's the same thing. We're slightly different because we're also thinking about how we're holding ourselves, how we're breathing and stuff like this, and relaxing. We're doing slightly more than just listening, although it probably have the same effect. So we're listening intently to our bodies, and we can do this with the eyes shut. And this concentrates the mind. And obviously, when the mind's concentrated, you're not thinking about other stuff. So that is a good benefit. But it's also acquainting you more with the body, with the sensations. But the Buddhists use it more to concentrate the mind, calling it concentration meditation. This is also what we do in Tai Chi. And later, though, we do it with our eyes open. And then we elevate the consciousness a bit more. So, as they might do as well. So mindfulness now also becomes being mindful of all the senses, what's touching you. And we're very aware of what's touching. We're very sensitive. They say, so a mosquito can't alight on us without setting us into motion. We're just feeling like every single nerve ending. And we're listening, like I said about the Japanese woman talking about listening to the rain or the wind. We're immersed in the sounds, non-discriminate, just listening. Obviously, probably nicer to do when it's nice sounds at the beginning rather than on a building site. But the Japanese have this saying of you have to learn to love being non-discriminatory. They had a thing about rubbish, that after the war, the society broke down a bit and people would start being rubbish, whereas before you'd get serious trouble. And then they developed this thing of liking the rubbish. Or in clay, in pottery, they have a name for it. Well, I can't remember what it is, something sabi. So something goes wrong with the pottery and the glaze goes wrong and it produces something unexpected. But they value these things because often this creates another thing of beauty. Wabi-sabi, I think so. Anyway, that's beside the point. But it's saying be non-discriminatory if you can. Welcome every sound. I'm not good at that because I hate whiny sort of mechanical sounds. I just don't like them. So I find it difficult to just accept them. I want to turn them off or turn the people off who turn them on. But listening and looking. So there's a whole tradition of gazing in meditation. Often people gaze at candles or crystals or leaves. And this is a tradition of this as well. There's a whole tradition of listening to certain sounds. So these are all, but we do all of them. Mindfulness is all of them. The first step of just say gazing at a leaf is again so much concentration. You don't let the mind. So eventually we can come into a place where we're listening, looking, feeling, noticing the breathing, noticing the body movement, feeling everything, and we're so absorbed in it that we're in the moment. But we live in the moment. So we can switch into this anytime we like. And then we can walk around in this moment. Now we can walk and we can feel the changes as we walk. We can feel we're interested. We're fully absorbed, not half-hearted, wholeheartedly in the moment, listening, looking, watching, feeling, observing the insides. And then the Buddhists take this a step further. But when their minds think, they allow the minds to think so they can observe the working of their own minds. What are the habits of the mind? How do the emotions arise? They observe in order to then fix internally. It's like being one's own therapist. But we're not interested in that. So, I'm not a little bit interested in that, but I'm more interested in this more sort of immersion in the moment. And I'm not too bothered about fixing my brain so much. Quite happy with the one I've got. But yeah, this is the idea. And then in informal practice, you can do this all the time. Formal practice, you do it like now, maybe the different patterns. You could hold I like to do this one because it also helps you to watch the breath expanding. You can just watch another meditational thing is just to watch the breath. Some watch the Zen people watch the breath moving in the nose, some watch it moving here. But it's just that absorption in that thing, that one thing, which is the concentration. Then your mind forgets and wanders off and you bring it back to that one thing. So it doesn't matter what form of meditation you're using for concentration meditation, is to concentrate the focus, to be wholeheartedly involved in the pursuits. So often people experience this meditation, this quiet mind, when they're fishing or when they're not fishing, when they're wholeheartedly in some pursuit. If you see what I mean. Might be rock climbing, or could be anything. Swim, could be anything, as long as you're completely watching the sunset. So we're doing Tai Chi. We're not doing those other things. So we're the same principle, but we're looking to feel the workings of the body inside, watching, deliberately trying to relax more deeply, trying to settle the chi in the breath, let the mind settle naturally. We're fully engaged, feeling, listening, looking, everything. Okay, let's do a finish. And then when we move, the same thing, but now it's in movement. So this inner stillness from the meditation is what they mean when they say the stillness in the movement. And then we feel the whole body. Nice. Breathing in. You can also have that image of collecting the wonderful heavenly chi, the unpolluted chi of the stars, and washing through the body, feel it passing through our heads, our chests, our abdomens, our legs, down into the ground. Or feeling like it's a healing, like you're healing, like scanning your body with a healing scan. healing scan going like it's taking away, or imagine some sort of futuristic science fiction movie, and the scan goes down the body, and as it's going down the body, it heals everything. Heals everything down to the. That's a good. Nobody's ever told me that one before. It's a modern take on it all. I might start using that. Okay, fantastic. Good.